In the high-pressure world of entertainment, maintaining an image is not just about the outside, but also a battle with health psychology and will. The 25 stories below tell the story of Black celebrities who have undergone incredible weight changes, leaving many people unrecognizable. From those who fought illness, overcame bad habits, to those who strive to regain their health to continue shining, each journey contains sweat, tears, and resilience. These transformations are not just physical transformations, but also a testament to inner strength and rebirth. Discover the inspiring stories behind their new looks, the silent battles and relentless determination to become the best versions of themselves. Are you surprised by the dramatic changes of these Black stars? If so, leave the number 1 in the comments, otherwise leave the number 0. Don't forget to watch the whole video. Subscribe to support the channel and watch more interesting stories. Star Jones was once a shining icon of American television. With talent, intelligence, and a sharp personality, she always appeared before the public with a strong demeanor and an energetic smile. On screen, she was a model of success that many admired, a woman who had it all: fame, career, and aura. But behind that appearance was another reality, a silent battle with her own body. In the early 2000s, Star began to struggle with uncontrolled weight gain. Her weight no longer stopped at normal numbers, but continued to increase dangerously, reaching over 120 kilos. This caused her physical and mental pain. The shoes she used to love no longer fit. Moving became difficult. Breathing became heavy. Sometimes just standing for a moment made her heart pound so hard it felt like it was fighting against its own body. During a live recording, Star suddenly felt dizzy. Then the doctors gave her bad news: she had diabetes and signs of heart failure. Every minute that passed was a race against time. In 2003, Star had to make a difficult decision: gastric bypass surgery. This was not a choice for beauty, but to preserve life. Entering the operating room, she knew that this was the most important battle of her life. But the surgery was only the beginning. After that, a new, more fierce battle began. Even though her stomach had shrunk, the hunger in her mind still refused to let go. Eating was now an obsession, a pain, a fatigue to the point of exhaustion. She lost weight rapidly. Her skin became loose, her hair fell out, her nails were brittle and broke easily. Star's body seemed to be protesting. There were days when she couldn't stand up, just sitting quietly alone. There were nights when she cried in front of the mirror when she saw the image of a stranger, emaciated and weak beyond recognition. But Star refused to give up. From her weakest days, she started to practice. While the world slept, she practiced. When her body screamed with fatigue, she kept going. Even when she fell, she still stood up and kept going, because she knew that life was ahead. She followed an extremely strict diet: almost no sugar, no starch, no fat, just green vegetables, filtered water, and a steely spirit. In just over half a year, Star lost nearly 73 kilos, a number that surprised many people. But the most important thing she regained was not her figure, but her peaceful breathing, her steps without pain. She won her life back from the hands of death with extraordinary willpower and determination not to succumb to fate. Star Jones's journey is proof that even when you seem to have hit rock bottom, as long as you have faith and determination, you can still overcome yourself. She is not just a famous TV host. She is a symbol of determination, of a spirit that never gives up in the face of adversity. By 2016, Gabourey Sidibe's health was at a dangerous level. Every morning became an ordeal. Her legs were numb. Her head was dizzy. Moving even a few steps felt like climbing a mountain. Stairs became obstacles that made her heart pound and her body scream for help. She faced serious health problems, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke risk, like a ticking clock. With no other choice, Gabourey decided to undergo gastric bypass surgery, a life-or-death decision. But what she didn't expect was that the darkest days would come after the surgery. Her life changed completely. She couldn't eat like before, couldn't sleep like normal. Every meal was a harsh test, eating too fast, eating the wrong amount, facing pain. Her body changed dramatically. The rapid weight loss caused her skin to sag, her energy to run out. Gabourey sometimes felt like she was disappearing. In the mirror, she no longer recognized the strong woman she once was. But instead of giving up, she chose to move on. She started from scratch. Her body was tired, but she still tried to exercise. No oil, no sugar, no convenience foods. The strict diet was not just for weight loss, but for survival. Every day was a battle, not with others, but with the voice in her head that whispered, "Give up." But she kept quiet. She pushed through. The silent tears, the long nights no one witnessed. She chose to face the pain with resilience. Every step forward, every second of practice was a declaration, "I will not fall." After a difficult journey, Gabourey lost more than 60 kilos. But what she regained was not just her figure, but the right to live fully, to breathe easily, to walk without pain, to laugh without fear of health collapse. She pulled herself out of the abyss not to become a new beauty icon, but to live a meaningful life. Gabourey Sidibe, the bold icon of Hollywood, did not need to be a conventional beauty to win over audiences. She touched the hearts of millions not with her looks, but with her strong temperament and undeniable talent. Her career is a testament to courage. She is not afraid to be different, not afraid of difficulties. But behind that halo, there is a battle that few people expected, the battle with her own body. Gabourey Sidibe's story is a living testament to the power of human willpower. At the age of 68, when many people choose to retire, she starts over again, stronger, deeper, and more fulfilled. She is not only a Hollywood star, but also an inspiration to millions, that no matter where you are, no matter what you face, if you don't give up, you can still take back your life. Timbaland, the name that makes the rhythms shake the world. He used to be the king of the studio, possessing everything: fame, money, power, and undeniable influence in the music world. But few people know that behind that successful appearance is a person who is gradually collapsing. A body that is exhausted by bad habits, and a soul that is staggering in the midst of prolonged mental crises. Things began to go wrong when Timbaland fell into a state of chronic insomnia, a result of stress, loneliness, and exhaustion. In search of some peace, he turned to unhealthy habits and uncontrolled lifestyle. At the same time, his weight increased rapidly. A disorganized diet stress and rushed meals took their toll on his health. His breathing became rapid, his heart beat irregularly, his body was constantly screaming from exhaustion. One night, Timbaland was rushed to the hospital with difficulty breathing. The doctors were blunt: "If you don't change, you may not survive." The warning was a shock. He realized he was at a crossroads, either continue to slide or rise up to save himself, and he chose to fight. In 2014, Timbaland embarked on a journey of recovery. The first stage was the process of freeing himself from his old lifestyle. It wasn't just a physical battle, it was a fierce internal battle as well. He faced urges, disorientation, emptiness, and constant pain. But he refused to let himself fall. Day by day, hour by hour, he stood up against the very things that had brought him down. After overcoming the most difficult period, Timbaland turned to the journey of physical recovery. The diet was strict down to the last detail. The intense workouts left him extremely tired. Mornings began with body aches. Nights were filled with hunger pangs that kept him awake. But he persevered. He learned to control his emotions, push away temptations, and stay focused on every meal and every workout. After more than a year of challenges, Timbaland lost nearly 130 pounds. An impressive figure not only physically, but also a symbol of determination. No longer the heavy, tired, and dependent man, Timbaland is now back with a healthy body, a clear mind, and a life more fulfilled than ever. Timbaland did not simply overcome. He was reborn. Reborn as a stronger, more alert, and more self-reliant version. No longer a victim of old habits, but the master of his own destiny. Timbaland's story is proof that no matter how deep you fall, as long as you have enough courage and determination, you can still step into the light and start over. Brilliantly. Randy Jackson, a name associated with the hit TV show American Idol, is a veteran music producer and legendary judge who has inspired millions of people. But behind the brilliant years on screen is another story, a lonely journey against a body that is deteriorating due to the consequences of an uncontrolled lifestyle. Before 2003, Randy Jackson lived in oblivion. He weighed more than he had ever weighed before. He ignored every warning sign until his doctor gave him a devastating diagnosis, type 2 diabetes. From there, things went downhill. His blood sugar was rising uncontrollably. He was exhausted, dizzy, and in constant pain. His breathing was getting shorter, his energy was depleted. Waking up in the morning was a miracle he survived the night. Every meal was no longer a joy for him, but a blow to his health. His body was out of control. The doctor warned if he did not change, the risk of kidney failure, stroke, or cardiac arrest could happen at any time. Randy was faced with a crossroads: either change completely or lose everything, and he chose to live. In 2003, he underwent gastric bypass surgery, an urgent, courageous decision and the first step on the journey to recovery. After the surgery, his body was weak, almost exhausted. He couldn't eat like before, couldn't sleep well. Feeling hungry but unable to eat, tired but unable to stop, every day was a constant battle. Randy didn't do this to look better. He did it to live. And to live, he had to change completely. He started with the smallest things, counting every bite, exercising every day, even though his body was exhausted. There were mornings when he would shake on the gym floor, sweating profusely, his heart racing, but he would not give up. Sugar cravings would strike at night, but he learned to control them. He would not let temptation drag him back to his old ways. Every time his blood sugar dropped, it was a victory, not just for his health, but for his will. After 2 years of hard work, Randy lost more than 120 pounds, an impressive number. But what's more valuable is that he no longer lives in fear. He no longer has the burden of illness on his shoulders. He lives healthier, more clearly, and most importantly, proud of not giving up. Randy's story is not just about losing weight. It's a journey from the depths of illness back to life. A testament that no matter how heavy the past is, as long as you dare to start, you can still write a new chapter for yourself. Randy Jackson didn't just overcome. He was reborn. Al Roker, the shining symbol of the Today Show on American television, always brings positive energy and a bright smile. On air, he is the perfect host, neat in a suit, humorous and warm. However, behind the stage lights is a different truth. A health crisis silently accumulates and almost takes his life. By the early 2000s, Al Roker's weight had reached dangerous levels. High blood pressure, irregular heartbeat. Every step was a struggle. He'd have to stop after climbing just a few flights of stairs, gasping for breath and feeling lightheaded. His body was constantly giving him warning signs: fatigue, headaches, insomnia, and a pounding heart that sounded like death's doorbell. One time, he nearly collapsed during a live broadcast. It was no longer a medical warning. It was a death sentence waiting to be carried out. In 2002, after many sleepless nights of panic wondering, will I wake up tomorrow? Al Roker made a bold choice: gastric bypass surgery. Not to look good on television, but to survive. The surgery took away a part of his body, but it also broke the cycle of obesity, opening the door to a new life. But the surgery was no miracle. It was just the beginning of a grueling journey. After the surgery, his body went haywire. He couldn't eat normally. Hunger sapped his strength. The loss of energy left him feeling like he was drifting in the desert. Every day was a test of his will. Giving up meant going back to the old path, and going back meant accepting death. Al started over. He learned to eat a low-carb diet, controlling each meal with iron discipline. The cravings still appeared, but he conquered them little by little. Together with a regular exercise regimen, he felt his body change day by day. The weight gradually decreased. His breathing became steady. His body became less tired, and once again he was in control of himself. Thanks to his relentless perseverance, Al Roker lost more than 100 pounds. Kelly Price, an indispensable name in the R&B village in the 2000s. Her powerful voice and explosive performance style made her an icon. But behind the stage lights, there was a cruel reality. Her body was gradually betraying her, pulling her away from the peak of her career and pushing her to the brink. At her peak, Kelly was no longer herself. Her weight skyrocketed out of control. She couldn't breathe enough to finish a song. Every step felt like it was being chained. Her knees ached, her chest felt like it was being squeezed. Every night of performing was no longer a joy, but a gamble with her health. Backstage, she often collapsed from exhaustion, both physical and mental. The doctors were no longer beating around the bush. If Kelly continued like this, she would not only lose her voice, but also her life. She stood alone in her room, looking into the mirror, and didn't recognize the woman staring back at her. It wasn't Kelly Price. It was a broken, exhausted version of herself, trapped in her old habits. Kelly chose to fight. There was no other option. She started where it was hardest: her diet. Sugar, fat, and junk food, once comforts, were eliminated. Vegetables, lean meats, and water became her new allies. Every craving was a battle. She fought it like someone freed from a dependency. The workout began. It sounded easy, but with a heavy body and aching knees, every minute on the treadmill was torture. There were times when she cried in the middle of a workout, because of the pain, because of the fatigue, because she wanted to give up. But she didn't stop. She gritted her teeth, endured, and kept going, because she knew every drop of sweat was a step closer to life. After months of perseverance, 100 pounds were gone. But what Kelly regained was more than just her figure. She regained her strength, her breath, her voice, and her stolen confidence. The pain was gone. She walked lighter, sang clearer, and most importantly, she freed herself from the prison of her old body. Kelly's story is not just about losing weight. It is about standing up, defying her fears, and conquering herself. Kelly Price did not let her physical limitations define her career or her destiny, and she emerged, not just an artist, but a warrior who had survived and reborn from her own darkness. But most importantly, he came back from the brink of death, no longer a victim of old habits, but a leader of his own life. Today, Al is not only healthy, but shares his story as a reminder that health is the most valuable asset. Don't wait until your body screams to start changing. Al's story is a living proof you can be successful, you can be famous, but if you don't control your health, you can still lose everything. But if you are brave enough to look straight at the truth, have enough will to change, then even when you are standing on the edge of the abyss, you can still turn around and move forward, stronger than ever. Monique, the talented Oscar-winning comedian, is an icon of daring and individuality in the entertainment industry. On screen, she is radiant strong and always makes the audience laugh with her sharp and uninhibited acting. But behind the spotlight, a silent war is going on, not with Hollywood, but with her own body. For many years, Monique weighed nearly 90 kilos. But it wasn't just the numbers. It was the feeling of exhaustion that persisted day after day, even when she wasn't doing anything. As a wife, mother, and artist, she always fulfilled her role. But behind the smile, she silently crumbled. Every morning became a challenge. Something as simple as getting out of bed required more effort than usual. The turning point came not from a big event, but from an ordinary evening with her family. Looking into her children's eyes, Monique felt a deep fear. Not fear of no longer being attractive, fear of no longer being present, fear of disappearing, of not being there to see her children grow up, of not being strong enough to live fully. And most of all, she couldn't let the strong image she had built fade into stagnation. The very next day, Monique began a radical change. She cut out carbs, said no to processed foods, and increased her intake of green vegetables and clean protein. She didn't stop there. She started working out with a personal trainer. Each workout was a battle, not just with sweat, but with her own will. There were days when Monique left the gym drenched in sweat, barely able to stand. Sometimes she needed help to get off the floor. But she didn't stop. She wasn't doing this to fit into a dress, she was doing it to survive. In just 4 months of relentless perseverance, Monique had lost more than 80 pounds. But the most rewarding part wasn't her figure. It was her renewed energy. She could work all day, take care of her family, and no longer struggle with constant fatigue. She was no longer a woman trapped by her body, but a free, active, and radiant woman. Monique began sharing her journey on social media. Not to brag, but to say, "I stood up, and you can too." Each photo, each post is a reminder that you are never stuck unless you choose not to. Jennifer Hudson, with her sharp and powerful voice, is one of the icons of the modern generation of female artists. From the stage of American Idol to the Oscars, she has asserted herself with her talent and burning passion. But few people know that behind that halo, Jennifer once went through a fierce battle, not with the entertainment industry, but with her own body. After giving birth, everything changed. Her body was no longer what it used to be, and Jennifer's once strong self-confidence began to waver. Despite her absolute love for her children, concerns about her health, her figure, and the pressures of celebrity began to haunt her every day. Her back ached from sitting for long periods of time. Chronic fatigue left her feeling trapped. Although she continued to smile in the media, an insecurity grew inside her. Jennifer decided not to wait for a miracle. She joined Weight Watchers, not to have a standard beauty, but to regain control of her life. But the journey was not easy. The strict diet forced her to give up her favorite foods. Every time she saw a cake, it was a mental battle. She endured hunger, overcame slips, and kept her faith with the image of her children in her mind. Mornings started very early. Jennifer sweated through intense workouts. Her body ached, her mind was tired, and there were times when she almost collapsed because she saw no obvious change. But between photo shoots, filming, press conferences, and vocal training, she never gave up. Every time she stood in front of the camera, she reminded herself that it wasn't just about looks, it was about health, dignity, and the right to live life to the fullest. After months of perseverance, Jennifer lost more than 80 pounds. But the most important thing wasn't the scale. She found herself again a strong, healthy, confident woman. Her voice was resounding again, and this time it carried a new message. I don't just sing about power, I live it. Jennifer Hudson showed the world that the biggest battles are sometimes not on stage, but quietly fought within your own mind and body. And she won. Not by luck, but by determination, discipline, and love for life. Janet Jackson, whose name is associated with legendary melodies and mesmerizing dance moves, is an irreplaceable icon of the world music scene. But behind the halo, Janet once took on an equally fierce challenge, losing weight and getting back in shape after giving birth. At the age of 50. After becoming a mother, Janet's body changed completely. The uncontrolled weight gain left her exhausted, sleep-deprived, and worried about her health, not just for her career but for the future of her baby boy. She stood in front of the mirror and told herself, "This body has conquered the world with me. Now I will not let it betray me." Together with her personal trainer, Peta Siblas, Janet embarked on an unprecedented journey. Mornings began at dawn with intense cardio weight training sessions that made every muscle group scream. The diet was relentless. No sugar, no carbs, no favorite foods. Just greens, lean protein water, and an iron will. Every drop of sweat was a declaration of determination. There were workouts where she had to stop because she was in so much pain. There were nights when she was so hungry she couldn't sleep. But Janet didn't give up. She thought of her son. She thought of the future. And she kept going. After half a year of perseverance, Janet lost 32 kilos. But what she regained was not just a slimmer body. It was a new source of life energy, a strong spirit, and proof that no matter what age, who you are, you can still start over and conquer yourself. On the stage of the postpartum tour, Janet Jackson is no longer a woman struggling with her weight. She is a symbol of rebirth, strong, sexy, lively. Her story is not only inspirational for postpartum women, but for anyone who feels it's too late to start over. Missy Elliott, the queen of hip-hop, has changed the global music landscape with her unique style. But behind the scenes, she has been fighting the biggest battle of her life, not on stage, but in her body. Graves' disease, a rare thyroid disorder, has taken over Missy's body like a whirlwind. She wakes up exhausted every morning, her skin dull and lifeless. The uncontrolled weight gain came despite her not changing her diet. Missy knew that if she didn't take action, her career and her life would collapse. Instead of waiting for a miracle, Missy started with herself. She embarked on a strict diet, no sugar, no starch, no processed foods. Instead, it was green vegetables, clean protein, and filtered water. But her body did not cooperate. The cravings were like an addiction. The mornings were spent struggling to get up. The workouts made every muscle feel like it was about to fall apart. At times, she wanted to give up. But she remembered one thing: I don't do this to look good. I do this to live. After a persistent journey, Missy lost more than 32 kilos. Not only was her body firmer, but her skin glowed again, full of energy. The fatigue was gone. She was no longer controlled by her illness. She was in control of herself. Missy didn't just come back. She came back stronger, brighter, more confident, and she sent a message to everyone: sometimes the biggest enemy isn't out there, it's what's inside you that's eating you up. But if you dare to confront it, you can be reborn. Chrisette Michele, a music star with a charming voice and captivating style, has conquered millions of hearts. But few people know that behind the stage lights and brilliant performances is a silent and challenging battle with her body and spirit. Over the years, Chrisette has been a resilient artist, devoting all her heart to music and the audience. But one day, when she looked in the mirror, she no longer recognized herself. The fatigue persisted, her body protested with constant pain, and her once radiant skin had turned dull and lifeless. Her stage costumes no longer fit, and even though she was in the spotlight, She felt like she was losing everything: her health, her career, and her self-confidence. One sleepless morning, looking in the mirror, Chrisette decided she had to make a change, not just to lose weight, but to restore her health and regain her sense of freedom. She started by switching to a vegan diet, completely eliminating processed foods, fats, and sugar from her diet. The first few days were not easy. Cravings were fierce, her energy levels were low, and she wondered if she could continue. But Chrisette didn't give up. She persisted in her yoga practice, each gentle yet profound movement gradually helping her feel reconnected with her body day by day. There were times when she was on the brink of fear and exhaustion, but her strong will kept her going. Every morning, despite having to fight a tsunami of cravings, she refused to give up. She avoided all temptations and told herself that this was the best choice for her future. The miracle happened. After a period of perseverance and persistence, Chrisette lost 27 kilos, not only changing her appearance, but also finding vitality in every step. Her skin glowed, and every day she felt a new confidence and energy. Chrisette Michel did not just lose weight. She reborn her soul, proving that changing your lifestyle is not just about appearance, but also a journey of loving yourself and living a healthier, happier life. If you find these stories inspiring and meaningful, don't forget to like, to support, and share this video with your friends and relatives. Let everyone know how health and perseverance can change your life. Do you have any other stories or celebrities that you would like us to explore? Leave a comment below. We look forward to hearing your opinions and sharing. Aretha Franklin, the soul legend with the legendary voice that the whole world admired, was once a symbol of strength and resilience. But behind that brilliant halo was a tragic story that few people knew. In the last years of her life, Aretha began to experience an unusual and worrying change. Her weight dropped rapidly and inexplicably. From over 90 kilograms, she dropped to only about 60 kilos in less than a year without changing her diet or lifestyle. Fans around the world were shocked to see her increasingly thin, exhausted, and pale. Not long after the heartbreaking truth was revealed, Aretha Franklin had terminal pancreatic cancer, a disease that severely devastated her health and body. The terrible disease not only took away her health, but also shook the powerful and strong image that she had built over the years. Every time she appeared in public, Aretha had to make great efforts to keep her appearance less tired. The gorgeous dresses that once enhanced her legendary aura now became loose, hanging on a weak, lifeless body. She fought silently, without the sound of trumpets, without the noise of the crowd, only pain and the strong will to face the cruel fate. Aretha's weight loss was not the result of a plan or a lifestyle change. It was a breakdown caused by illness, a death nail in her life. When she passed away in 2018, the world lost not only a great voice, but also a warrior who had fallen in the fiercest and most painful battle of her life. Aretha Franklin's story is a poignant reminder of the fragility of health, and that behind every glory lies a challenge that not everyone can see. Chadwick Boseman, the irreplaceable Hollywood icon who brought the character Black Panther to life, is not only a superhero on screen, but also a symbol of pride, strength, and indomitable warrior spirit. But behind the halo and bright smile is a silent war, a pain that few people know about. Since 2016, when the movie Black Panther started to make waves and brought Chadwick to the peak of fame, his body began to show obvious signs of weakness. He had colon cancer, a cruel enemy that he kept secret for 4 years. During that time, Chadwick remained resilient, attending major events, continuing to act and always appearing with a bright smile that made the whole world believe that he was as healthy as everyone else. But the truth was a fierce struggle. His weight dropped sharply from about 90 kilos to about 65 kilos. His face and body were so thin and shriveled that fans could hardly recognize him in his last appearances. Every time he stood in front of the camera, Chadwick seemed to be fighting a dull pain, but he never complained or moaned. His resilience and silence made everyone admire him even more. But then in August 2020, Chadwick Boseman passed away, leaving a huge void that could not be filled in the hearts of fans and the entire world film industry. The death came too quickly, too suddenly, leaving everyone shocked and sad. Only when he passed away did the world realize that in the moments of being praised as a superhero, Chadwick was silently suffering, fighting the pain and the terrible disease alone. A silent warrior, a brave man whose story will always be an endless source of inspiration for everyone. Charlie Murphy, the talented and charming comedian who lit up Hollywood with his laughs and sharp acting, was once an undeniable icon of the entertainment industry. But by the end of 2015, his life had taken a dark and challenging turn. Charlie's body began to deteriorate rapidly, and persistent fatigue took over his life. Eventually, he was diagnosed with leukemia, an invisible but extremely cruel enemy. Unlike many people who might cry or complain, Charlie chose to fight in silence, enduring each round of chemotherapy like a brave warrior, despite his body wasting away and deteriorating day by day. During that time, he lost nearly 25 kilograms, making his once strong body now so thin and tired that people could hardly recognize the man who used to shine on stage. Every time he appeared in public, it was a big shock when his skinny arms, gaunt face, and sunken eyes reflected the pain and exhaustion to the extreme. The last photos spread on social networks made fans feel sorry and surprised. Behind the humorous smile, the constant wit was a body struggling every moment to fight against a serious illness gradually fading away. In April 2017, Charlie Murphy took his last breath, leaving behind a comedic era, a powerful and inspiring figure in the hearts of audiences. The story of his weight loss journey and battle with illness remains one of the most tragic chapters in showbiz, reminding everyone of the fragility of life and the extraordinary power of resilience. Bernie Mac, America's king of stand-up comedy, conquered Hollywood with his razor-sharp wit, absolute confidence, and unmatched stage presence. The stage was where he shone brightly, bringing laughter and joy to millions. But behind the bright lights was a silent and ruthless war, a battle that only he knew best. In 2006, Bernie began to see warning signs. The persistent cough was relentless, and each breath became more difficult than ever. His energy was draining day by day, but he still tried to keep a smile on his face every time he stood before an audience. Only those close to him recognized the obvious change inside him, a relentless battle with sarcoidosis, a serious chronic lung disease. In less than 2 years, Bernie lost nearly 20 kilos from a man with a strong, healthy body to a thin, tired man with sunken, worried eyes. Every time he appeared in public, he always wore his signature smile, a mask that hid the exhaustion inside. But behind the scenes, he struggled for every breath, every minute, every second. By the end of 2007, the disease became so serious that Bernie had to be hospitalized. The days of clinging to every breath became the most severe challenge of his life. In August 2008, Bernie Mac passed away at the age of 50, leaving the comedy community and the entertainment world in great grief. His death was a huge shock, but at the same time, it revealed a bitter truth that few people knew. His weight loss journey and exhaustion were not frivolous, but the result of a painful, silent battle that he had to endure until the very end. Bernie Mac taught us that behind the brightest smiles, there are always the most difficult stories, and that true strength lies not only on stage, but also in resilience in the darkest moments of life. Jordin Sparks, the American Idol champion with her powerful voice and radiant image, is a symbol of youth vitality and passion for music. Audiences love her not only for her voice, but also for her energetic spirit and confidence on stage. But after giving birth, Jordin's life entered a completely different chapter where she faced a battle more difficult than any challenge before. Soon after becoming a mother, Jordin gradually disappeared from the spotlight. Her heavy body and depressed spirit made her sink into a deep, persistent fatigue, her energy depleted as if her life force was being sucked away. Long, sluggish days, she struggled to maintain a balance between motherhood and her already stressful singing career. No one knew that Jordin was silently fighting with herself. A silent but fierce battle. In 2019, she decided to embark on a life-changing journey, a process that was fraught with hardship and challenges. Every day was a constant battle, grueling workouts led by her coach walks in the bitter cold hunger pangs, and her body's urges that almost made her want to give up. Losing 50 pounds was no easy feat. Jordin endured hundreds of hours of perseverance, sweat exhaustion, and countless bouts of self-doubt. Unlike many celebrities who opt for quick plastic surgery to get back in shape, Jordin took the hard way, fighting little by little and persevering to the end to rebuild himself. As her body began to slim down, Jordin realized that this was more than just a physical transformation. It was a rebirth, a new version of herself, a woman forged through sweat, tears, and iron will. Jordin came back stronger than ever, not only on stage, but in life, proving that true strength lies in resilience and determination to overcome any challenge. Tiffany Haddish, the Hollywood comedy sensation, with an explosive personality and unforgettable performances, has won over fans with her charm and boundless energy on stage. But behind the roaring laughter lies a different story. A Tiffany who is tired, lethargic, and much heavier than her television image. After years of chaotic work, unhealthy diets, and uncontrolled smoking, her body was slowly depleted. Her once confident self was replaced by tired mornings, depressed spirits, and a stranger in the mirror. In 2020, Tiffany decided to take on a brutal challenge. 30 days of continuous training, a big gamble to change her life. But she didn't expect that this was where the nightmare began. Every day was a painful battle, excruciating muscle pain, uncontrollable cravings for cigarettes, and endless temptations from junk food, the things she used to calm her mind. There were times when Tiffany burst into tears right in the gym, trembling as she looked at the old cigarette packs piled up in the trash, struggling between the desire to quit and the temptation to continue. But with resilience, she never backed down. She found strength from within, from tears and physical pain. After the first 30 days of the challenge, Tiffany began to see hope, a small ray of light leading to change. After 3 months of hell, she lost 23 kilos, defeated her cigarette addiction, and regained herself, a strong, confident, and vibrant woman. Tiffany's weight loss journey was not just about her body or health. It was a spiritual revolution, a way out of her old self, the person who was dragged down by destructive habits and stagnation. Now she has become the best version of herself, ready to shine strongly on every stage of life. Selena Johnson, a soulful singer with a sweet, powerful voice, took the music world by storm with her heart-touching songs and resilience. But behind the bright spotlight, Selena was quietly dealing with a tragedy that had been going on for years. Her health was failing, her body was tired, and her self-image was becoming increasingly alienated, almost spiraling out of control. One morning, exhausted to the core, Selena and her two close sisters faced the truth. Without drastic action, all three would gradually retreat from the spotlight and possibly leave the passionate life they once loved. It was a moment that marked the beginning of a difficult but determined battle. 3 women, 3 bodies that had once stagnated, began an arduous journey of change. They were determined to break their unhealthy eating habits, adopt strict diets, and face rigorous workouts every day. The battle was not only about weight, but also about fatigue cravings and the constant fear of failure. There were times when it seemed impossible to continue. Moments of weakness appeared, but the sisterhood and mutual support became a strong motivation, keeping them steadfast on this challenging path. Step by step, day by day, they moved forward, overcoming all difficulties together. After 3 months of hard work, sweat, and tears, Selena took the lead with 23 kilos of fat, gone an achievement that was not only physical, but also a testament to the will and solidarity of the family. Together, the 3 sisters burned a total of 57 kilos of excess fat, returning to good health and high spirits. Selena Johnson and her 2 sisters proved that nothing is impossible when there is companionship and the strength of family love. They not only regained their figure, but also regained their faith, confidence, and love for life, ready to shine on every stage of life. Fantasia Barrino, a soulful and powerful singer, has conquered millions of hearts with her soulful and profound songs. But few people know that behind the stage's spotlight, she faces a battle that is even more difficult than her artistic challenges. After many years of perseverance in both work and family, Fantasia realized a painful truth: she was no longer herself. Her body was heavy and tired, making every step on stage a burden, and her confidence was gradually collapsing. Without a change, her illustrious music career was at risk of collapse. With an iron will, Fantasia was determined to start a rigorous weight loss journey. She gave up all her old habits, cutting out sugar and starch, the joys of eating, and struggled with intense cravings and heavy mornings when her body seemed to rebel against her. Three months later, the results were spectacular. 23 kilos of excess fat burned, giving her not only a healthy body but also a new person full of energy and confidence. On stage, Fantasia not only conquered the audience with her voice, but also shone with her radiant vitality, demonstrating perseverance and the will to overcome challenges. On the other hand, 650 Cent, another artist, has endured a different but equally difficult battle. He lost 50 pounds while battling cancer, a painful yet empowering journey. Despite his weakened body, he has maintained his fighting spirit, becoming a symbol of resilience and hope for those facing similar challenges. Curtis 50 Cent. Jackson is not only a hip-hop legend with millions of records sold worldwide, but also a multi-talented artist who is willing to sacrifice everything for his art. Behind the hits that rock the stage is a disciplined, determined man who is willing to commit himself uncompromisingly to every role he takes on. And the clearest proof of that spirit is his haunting role in the movie All Things Fall Apart, 2011. Curtis not only transformed into a terminal cancer patient, but almost became that person both mentally and physically. To get into character, Curtis took on a harsh and lonely journey. He followed a dangerously extreme diet, eating only watery soup, drinking a few drops of juice every day, and completely cutting out his main energy sources. Not stopping there, he also ran 5 to 10 kilometers every day as a way to burn every gram of fat. Every bit of muscle he put on made his body increasingly emaciated, true to the image of a patient gradually succumbing to the terrible disease of cancer. During that process, Curtis's health declined rapidly. He began to feel exhausted, dizzy insomnia, and at times he could no longer recognize his own image in the mirror. His haggard face, pale skin, lifeless eyes, all proved that he was crossing the line of normal sacrifice. But Curtis never gave up. For him, acting was more than a job. It was a commitment to himself and his audience. He believed that in order to portray the truest form of pain and despair, he had to feel it to live it. By the time the film wrapped, Curtis had lost a total of 50 pounds, achieving a body that shocked viewers not to impress, but to make the audience truly believe and feel the story he was telling. However, after the role, he had to enter another battle: recovery. His body was severely weakened, his nutrition was unbalanced, and his mind sometimes became cloudy. But despite that, Curtis has no regrets. He shared that this was one of the most extreme but rewarding experiences of his career, where art is not just acting, but daring to be true to the pain and convey it with all that you have. The story of Curtis 50 Cent Jackson is not just a sacrifice for cinema, it is a symbol of dedication, passion, and courage that not many artists dare to choose. Anthony Anderson, a Hollywood superstar whose career spans comedy and political television, has endeared himself to millions of fans with his wit and formidable acting skills. But behind the spotlight lies a little-known truth, a quiet but fierce battle with type 2 diabetes that has threatened his health, his life, and his career. During a routine checkup, doctors delivered a dire warning. Without immediate lifestyle changes, Anthony was at risk of heart complications, kidney failure, and other dangerous consequences. It wasn't a distant future. It was a painful reminder that each day of continuing to live the same way could be a step closer to disaster. That moment was a wake-up call, forcing Anthony to face himself, his overworked body, his chronic fatigue, and his uncontrolled lifestyle consumed by work and fame. He knew he couldn't go on like this. Losing weight was no longer a desire, but a necessity. With a steely determination, Anthony embarked on a journey of total transformation, adopting a strict low-carb diet, completely eliminating starches and sugars from his daily diet. His favorite foods suddenly became taboo. Along with that was a strict training regimen combining cardio and high-intensity weight training. He woke up early to run rushing to the gym when his body just wanted to lie down and rest. There were plenty of moments of near-collapse hunger pangs after a workout, dizzy mornings with low energy, or a feeling of exhaustion so intense that he wanted to give up. But Anthony refused to back down. He understood that every minute of perseverance was a step closer to survival. Every sweat, every refusal to eat a favorite food was a powerful statement that he would not let the disease define his fate. After a year of relentless effort, Anthony Anderson lost 21 kilos, a figure that was not simply a physical achievement, but a symbol of rebirth. More than just his figure, he regained control of his health, controlled his diabetes, and more importantly, regained the confidence and joy of life that had been stolen by his illness. Anthony's story is not one of triumph in the gym. It's one of triumph in the fight for his life. He has become a powerful inspiration to millions of people struggling with similar health issues, showing that even at the brink, if you are determined enough, change is possible. Earl Simmons, better known by his stage name DMX, is an irreplaceable icon of hip-hop, a street fighter with a distinctive raspy voice and songs that are energetic, angry, yet honest and emotional. He is not only a successful rapper, but also an artist who lives with his emotions, exposing his scars in every line. However, behind the glittering aura and the fervent admiration of millions lies a painful personal journey. A life marred by drug addiction, childhood trauma, and a never-ending series of setbacks. DMX has said that he started using drugs at the age of 14, after an older friend gave him a joint mixed with crack without telling him. From that moment on, his life took a dark turn. He struggled with addiction for decades, alternating between rehab arrests and the struggle between the brilliant artist and the broken person inside. His music was always filled with pain, but also his only salvation. In the final years of his life, the public no longer saw the muscular, strong, energetic DMX of his prime. Instead, he was a skinny man with pale skin, a haggard body, and achingly tired eyes. His weight dropped by 15 to 20 kilos, not because of his determination to be fit or his role, but because his health was severely eroded by the long-term effects of addiction. The last images of DMX made fans feel heartbroken. He was no longer the star of his time, but a soul struggling to survive. Despite multiple attempts to kick his addiction, from rehab centers to public speaking, DMX was unable to break the vicious cycle. His death in April 2021 from a heart attack related to a drug overdose was a wake-up call for a generation of artists and young people that drugs not only take away health, but also destroy the soul and future of anyone, regardless of whether you are a commoner or a legend. Yet, DMX's legacy lives on. Songs like Slippin' Rough Riders Anthem and Party Up in Here still resonate every day, carrying a genuine message of pain, struggle, and hope. He wasn't perfect, but he was real. And that's what makes DMX an irreplaceable icon in hip-hop history, a man with a scarred heart, but still beating with passion. Stuart Scott, one of the greatest icons of American sports broadcasting and a familiar face on ESPN, is known not only for his sharp, humorous, and personable hosting style, but also for his unwavering determination to overcome adversity. With catchphrases like "Booyah" and "as cool as the other side of the pillow," Stuart has reshaped the way Americans consume sports news, making it lively, relatable, and deeply rooted in pop culture. But behind the confident demeanor and powerful voice on air is a man quietly battling a dangerous enemy, appendiceal cancer, a rare and extremely aggressive form of cancer. The disease was first detected in 2007, and from that moment on, Stuart's life began an unexpected journey. He underwent countless rounds of chemotherapy surgery and other harsh treatments. Each chemotherapy session was a fierce battle, leaving him exhausted, unable to eat normally. From a healthy, agile man, he gradually became thin and weak. His skin became pale, his deep eyes filled with fatigue, but never lacking in determination. Stuart Scott's weight dropped between 35 and 45 pounds, a significant amount, but nothing compared to the silent pain he endured. Yet he never let the disease get in the way of his passion. Stuart continued to broadcast, still smile, still spread positivity to millions of fans, as if cancer was just a small part of his life, not the whole of it. He once gave a touching speech at the 2014 ESP Awards when he received the Jimmy V Award for courage. "You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and in the manner in which you live." It wasn't just a saying, it was Stuart's life principle. In the last months of his life, when his body was almost unable to support itself, he still refused to give up. He still appeared at sporting events on the set, was still a devoted father and an inspiring colleague. It wasn't just a fight against illness. It was a journey to overcome pain, fight against despair, and affirm the value of life until the last moment. In January 2015, Stuart Scott took his last breath, ending a nearly 8-year battle with cancer. His passing left a huge void in the hearts of his fans, colleagues, and the entire American sports industry. But more than anything, the Stuart Scott spirit, the spirit of never giving up, always living and fighting with all his passion, still lives on. He was not just a sports presenter, but a symbol of determination, faith, and courage that the entire sports world admired. Tion T-Boz Watkins, the deep soulful vocalist of legendary girl group TLC, was an irreplaceable icon of the 90s, with hits like Waterfalls, No Scrubs, and Unpretty that defined a generation. Behind the stage, lights, the energetic performances, and the huge success, T-Boz was quietly battling an invisible enemy: sickle cell anemia, a genetic blood disorder that causes chronic pain organ damage and can be life-threatening. Since she was a teenager, T-Boz knew she was different, not because of her talent, but because her body was constantly in a state of exhaustion. The pain would come suddenly so intense that she couldn't stand up, couldn't sing, couldn't even breathe properly. Each relapse left her severely weakened, reducing her ability to eat, leading to uncontrolled weight loss and a lack of energy to perform or create. There were times when she almost had to leave the stage to be hospitalized, given blood transfusions, and treated continuously. But despite all that, T-Boz never let her fans see her fall. She still stepped on stage, still sang with emotion as if the pain did not exist. For her music is not only a passion, but also an escape, a spiritual remedy that helps her overcome every moment of extreme pain. Filming music videos, going on tour, or even just practicing her voice every day, for T-Boz, is a challenging journey that she has to endure step by step. In 2011, after years of keeping her story private, T-Boz decided to go public with her story. She wanted to be more than just a celebrity. She wanted to be a voice for the millions of people who silently live with the disease. She published books, participated in campaigns to raise awareness about sickle cell anemia, and continued to write, perform, and inspire through her own life. T-Boz is more than an artist. She's a warrior. She doesn't let her illness define her, but instead turns her struggles into a symbol of strength, determination, and an incredible will to live. Each time she loses weight, it's not because of trends or aesthetics, but because her body is suffering and a reminder of what she's overcome to continue on stage. Oprah Winfrey, a name synonymous with intelligence, courage, and outstanding success, has long been an inspirational role model for millions of people around the world. As the queen of television with decades of domination on national television, Oprah not only touches the hearts of audiences with meaningful stories, but also with her own real-life journey. However, amidst all that admiration and success, Oprah has had to face a private, silent, but fierce battle. A battle with weight image and social expectations. Unlike many celebrities who lose weight for health reasons, Oprah embarked on this journey because of something deeper: the feeling of being scrutinized, the pressure to be perfect in the public eye, and the torment of her body image not matching her achievements. Over the years, Oprah has said that her weight was the longest battle she had ever fought in her life, a battle not just with her body, but with her soul. Having tried a variety of methods, diets, detoxes, fasting, high-intensity workouts, and then becoming a major shareholder of Weight Watchers, Oprah has invested both time and effort into changing her body. She also tried using the diet pill Omic, and although the results came quickly, it left her feeling disoriented, not knowing why she was changing for health, for image, or to please others. Every day, Oprah had to face herself in the mirror with the troubling question, "Who am I trying for?" Although she appeared on television with a confident appearance inside, she was torn, doubtful, and tired. The feeling of failure every time she gained weight was like a knife cutting into her confidence. Public opinion scrutinized, the media gossiped, and Oprah herself sometimes became the harshest judge of herself. But like every other difficult period in her life, Oprah didn't let herself get down. She learned to listen to her body, quit smoking, and focused on a sustainable lifestyle, healthy eating, meditation, and spiritual care. She gradually realized that her self-worth didn't come from the number on the scale, but from her inner peace. As a result, she lost about 40 to 50 pounds, but most importantly, she learned to accept herself with all her curves, stretch marks, and insecurities. The journey has no clear destination because, according to Oprah, loving yourself is not something that happens in a day, but a choice that must be made every day. Oprah's weight loss story is not simply about her figure. It is a journey of self-healing, from expectations, pressure, to self-doubt. It is a reminder that no matter who you are, where you stand, how many lights shine on you, self-love and respect are the first things that need to be nurtured. Oprah has been, is, and will always be an endless source of inspiration, not only because of what she says, but because of the way she lives, overcomes adversity, and touches the deepest truth of humanity. Each of these 25 Black celebrities is a living testament to perseverance, willpower, and mental strength in the face of great challenges. Losing weight is not just about changing your appearance, but also a journey to conquer yourself, protect your health, and find yourself again. Whether it is due to illness, work pressure, or the desire to live a healthier life, these changes have made them stronger and more inspiring than ever. They not only change their appearance, but also their lives and the way people see them. Their stories remind us that behind the stage or screen, there are real people with silent battles, and every transformation deserves to be honored. Cherish your health, love yourself, and constantly strive to become the best version of yourself. If these stories touch your heart, please take a moment to click the like button to motivate us to bring more meaningful content. Don't forget to share this video to spread the message of willpower and resilience to everyone around you. Thank you for joining us. Let's inspire and spread the power of positive change together.